students, learners, our graduating students, cohort 2024-2025. I want to warmly welcome you all to this graduation ceremony. Today, we're celebrating your dedication, we're celebrating your perseverance, we're celebrating those who have successfully completed their DataCamp scholarship program. It's been a long 1 year, and yes, we see you, and that is why we're here. So we're here because of you today. We're here because of your hard work, your dedication, and we know that it is worth celebrating. So we're looking forward to rejoicing, to celebrating with you. This achievement, what we're doing today is a testament to your hard work, to your commitment, to your upskilling in the fields that you have chosen: data science, data analysis, and this remarkable milestone is worth celebrating. So yeah, I look forward to celebrating each and every one of us today. So moving on, I would like to welcome Mr. Adebayo Samuel for the opening remark. Mr. Samuel.
Oh, thank you so much, Peter. Yeah, thank you everyone for being part of this group success for this program. I really want to commend everyone's efforts for this program. Everyone has been so amazing. Funny enough, for me, it feels like the program started yesterday, and like now it's already a year. Wow, so fast. And just imagine how much you have learned. For some of us, some people have gotten with the job offer via the skills you have been able to gain, right? And it has been something worth it, and it has been an amazing journey. Though it's not really easy, right? For you to stay consistent, for you to be there, like for you to always attend, do your courses, follow up with the tasks, the assignments. Might not be easy, but trust me, today we are graduating, and you are not just graduating. You have added more value, more skills to yourself, and out there for you to get more opportunity and also be a solution provider, right? So that's something I really commend everyone efforts for. I feel, for me, I feel it's a privilege that we received close to like 2,000 applicants for this particular program that just ended. And I'm glad that we see people that have successfully testimony and good review that completed the program and they are graduating today. It's something I'm really glad about. And I feel that this program started 2 years ago. The one we completed last year, before this one that just ended, I can see the clear difference. Like, we are really growing, we are advancing, we are also keeping in touch with the feedback we get from the people taking the program, and it has really been amazing. And that gives the hope that the next cohort will be a wonderful one, because now we have more capable hands that will be able to help to coordinate and also manage some other new people that also want to get access to this opportunity. So sincerely, I really commend everyone's effort, our TAs, the program coordinators, the managers, everyone has been amazing. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, we're moving on. We're moving on. As mentioned, I'm sure that we all saw the post. We all saw the updates that today is not one of those graduating ceremony. It's not just one of those graduation ceremony. It's going to be an experience. It's going to be an experience, and I'd love you to sit back and get your pen. If you're not with it, get your books, because you're going to go back with a lot of value today. Trust me, you are going back with a lot of value. You are not just leaving this program, you are leaving with not just your data analytics or data science or machine learning skills. You're leaving with so much value, and I cannot wait to do that, to see what we have in stock, to experience this graduation together. All right, so we're going to take a step forward right now, and we're going to start on a celebratory note, right? We're going to start celebrating ourselves. So we're celebrating the overall best students in each career track based on the capstone project, based on the review. You've had an amazing time with your different teaching assistants, and here we are looking at celebrating you. So for the data science career track, Usman Daudu is the overall best student based on the capstone project review. Usman Daudu with an overall score of 88%. Usman, can I just see those reaction? I'm sure that Usman is on the call. Usman, if you're on the call, we are celebrating you. This is a big shout out to you for that dedication, for that amazing work that you did. Usman, we are celebrating you. You had an overall score of 88%, and trust me, that is amazing. That is amazing. For the machine learning track, Ilesomi Benjamin, wherever you are, we just want to see your hands. We just want to see everybody. Can you please celebrate Ilesomi Benjamin? The machine learning track, actually, they had so many activities going on in that career track, and coming up with an overall score of 79% is amazing, and we celebrate you. Ilesomi Benjamin. For data analysis with Excel, Adeniyi Uthman is the overall best graduating student for that career track. We celebrate you. I just want to see those celebrations. I just want to see those thumbs up, those reactions, those emojis. I just want to keep them coming. Thank you so much. And for the data analysis with SQL career track, Pipeloluwa Fagbola, you can see that Pipeloluwa Fagbola is also a certified learner on DataCamp. Pipeloluwa, we see you, we celebrate you. You had a whooping overall score of 72%. I mean, that is amazing. We celebrate you, Pipeloluwa. Pipeloluwa, I'm sure that you're on this call. I've seen you just now. We are celebrating you. You are here, and we saw what you've done. We see your good work. Thank you so much, Pipeloluwa, for that commitment. And then finally, for data analysis with Python, we have Solomon Williams. Solomon Williams had a whooping overall score of 89%. For that career track, Solomon Williams, we celebrate your dedication. You are always coming in, joining the breakout room session. You're joining the break room session every Saturday. That dedication, that commitment is not going unnoticed today, and we see you. We are celebrating you. For everyone that your name has been mentioned, I want you to run to the chat box. If you are listening to me, drop your email. You're going to be receiving your certificate. Today. So please go ahead and drop that in the chat box. Pipeloluwa Fagbola, Solomon Williams. Yes, Pipeloluwa, I can see that. Thank you so much. Olamide, thank you so much. For every other person, please go in the chat box. We'll reach out to you. And we're here saying thank you for your dedication. Thank you for that good work. Thank you for your commitment. We see what you're doing. Thank you so much for your commitment. Please note that the celebration of the overall best student is completely based on the capstone project review, the one that was assigned to you by your amazing teaching assistants for this period of 1 year that you spent with AI Community Africa. So it's totally and completely based on the capstone project review. And AI Community Africa is celebrating every one of you today. So yeah, I would like to introduce our amazing speaker. We have a lot of speakers today that will be giving us insight into job market, into expectations, into what we are to look out for. So I will be introducing our speakers. We'll be meeting with them shortly. All right. So today we'll be our first speaker would be Mr. Brian. Mr. Brian is an AI ML developer evangelist. He's at Safe Intelligence. He focuses on formal verification and robustification of machine learning models. He's a data scientist and 4 times AWS community builder. He bridges technical depth with strategic insight and with a strong track record in translating AI research into business impact. Brian drives thought leadership through technical writing and champions practical innovation across the AI landscape. I want us to welcome Mr. Brian John. I want us to celebrate and welcome Mr. Brian. Mr. Brian, you're welcome to this call this evening.
It's a pleasure to be here. And congratulations to everyone, both the ones that got the award and the ones that didn't get the award. Everyone is a winner as long as you're completing the program, because as we all know, things are moving quite fast and we need certain skill set to future-proof our careers, and no better way than to learn these various AI courses.
So thank you so much, Ren, again for joining. It means so much that you're here with us. You were part of the first meetup that we had at AI Community Africa back then in Port Harcourt. So it's kind of really exciting
welcome
to kind of see the evolution that you've had as well coming into the space, and essentially you've gone through a very non-conventional path, and we thought we'd talk about that today, because one of the goals of this particular session is that we show people that there's not just one path in ML, it's not just one career path. You can take the foundational knowledge that you have and be able to go to non-traditional ML roles. And that's essentially, these are some of the questions that we've gotten from we anticipated our learners would want to ask you, and then we thought we sort of provide will help us also understand the insights from your part as well. But I think we can sort of get started with you helping us walk through your journey. So how did you go from like the core data science space into more of the developer evangelism and thought leadership space?
Okay, thank you very much, Stephen. Great question. So first of all, I would say your career is a journey, it's not a destination. And for my experience, I started off as a data science intern and community advocate in my first role. Then I later transitioned into finance, focusing more of insurance and credit risk management. During this period, I was also writing about my experience in terms of what interested me and new technologies I was learning during that period, more of like a hobby. And like I said, it's a journey, and all these points connected me into my new role as a developer advocate. So I would say during the course of my career, I functioned in different units. I functioned as a data scientist, a machine learning engineer, a business analyst back when I was in insurance, as well as a technical writer, and now a developer advocate.
That's stunning. So I think we can get started with kind of understanding, what does a developer evangelist essentially do? How does that differ from like roles like software engineering, data science, and ML research?
Great question, Stephen. So I would say a developer advocate or evangelist, depending on but similar. It's just a bridge between like the tech company and the developers that use their product. So you're more of like communicating what your product offerings are, getting the pain points and requirements, not necessarily requirement, but pain points of the developers using the product to make the product more better for them, and also engaging with the communities in terms of finding out what they need from the product, their current like roadblocks or experience, and also tie that back to like your product team. So that's basically it, just a bridge between the technical team and the users.
That makes sense. And what kind of skills help you shift from make this shift from like to this more of how do I call it now, from a product focused role to more of like community focused role in any way? There are some certain skills that obviously you have the foundational AI skills that you've gotten, through self-learning, going for your programs and stuff like that. But what skills were the ones that you have to build on top of the ones you already had as an AI engineer, essentially?
Great question, Steve. So I would say the core skills in order to succeed as a developer advocate or evangelist would first of all be your technical skills, because your technical depth, because in order to engage with developers, you actually know the tech, you actually know what they're working on. So I would say that's like the first step. And secondly, communication, because in order to communicate with different parties, developers, different range of experience, mid, senior, or even like just practitioners, elite practitioners with your technology, you need to be able to communicate with them properly, understand what they're doing, and communicate that back to your product team. So one of the key areas in terms of my career that helped me gain these skills was working as a business analyst, because the key of a business analyst is actually to gather requirements from parties and send them back to developers. So it's kind of technical skills and your communication skills are like the power and the most important skills for you to excel in this career.
Right. Awesome. And how does like your work influence business and technical decisions at your company? We need to know, because usually when you think about a career, you think about how it directly benefits the business. So in your sense, give us how it relates to benefiting the business, both on the business side and maybe on the technical side as well.
Okay, thank you, Steven. So firstly, the developer evangelist has two roles. First of all, you're communicating with developers, getting their feedback, and sending it back to your company. Yes, so looking at that workflow already, you can see where the value lies in terms of having proper alignment to the product team with what is more important. Because sometimes when you're building products, you actually don't know what the users needs until you actually ask them, understand their pain point. So it will more of like prioritize rights, improvements, fix bugs, and also give them a sense of like the issues and the issues as well as improvements that your product team should actually focus on.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense. And I think for learners coming from like the data science training programs, how can they sort of tell if like DevRel or Dev Evangelism is like going to be a good path for them? We have a ton of learners now that have finished like the machine learning career track or the data science career track. And are there specific things that they feel like they do best that could help them understand if like this path is going to be great for them, the DevRel career path?
So first off, if you enjoy teaching as well as like sharing what you're learning, because when I started off writing articles, I started off writing as far back 2018, before COVID. So it was more of like my hobby, writing what I was learning as an intern and new technologies I found interested along the way. So if you enjoy teaching, if you enjoy connecting with people, speaking to people, having like building connections, and if you also see like making information more accessible to people. Right now, we're in the whole like buzzwords of AI. AI has always been saturated with buzzwords. If you feel like you're the kind of person that you actually try to break things down to other people and you see that people actually understand better when you do that, then definitely on the long run, DevRel will be a great path for you to go.
That's perfect. And obviously, speaking of writing and breaking down complex topics, how do you sort of come up with topics to write about? And, how can sort of learners get started, like sharing technical ideas confidently?
Okay, great question. So I would say, in order to get started writing, first of all, everyone, if you're a writer, you always have like writer's block early on in terms of you have a lot of idea, but you can't start. So if you're starting, I also have that challenge, just so you know. But one of the ways I think that you can actually write and start writing, first of all, start writing. That's the first thing. You can focus on solving your own problem. What problem are you facing? Because everyone, whether you're in mid-level, senior level, junior level, you face issues with technology in terms of like the different AI stacks or core tools. That problem might not be unique to you. Someone else has that problem. So start off with your problem. Start writing about how you solve it, your thought process, the resources you engaged in, and how you were able to solve it. Because people in the AI industry right now, and in terms of like the whole world generally, we have a lot of content, but people want to see like more of like demos in terms of how you were able to achieve something rather than just talking about, oh, what is this, what is that. That's also good because that is also demystifying like some certain keywords. But if you solve problems, you can start writing quickly because definitely you have problems. That's why you're in like in your field. Also, you can also look in terms of writing like a thought process, best practices that you came around during your research that you came across, and just start writing.
Right. And do you have like any frameworks for writers to understand how to write better? Because it does seem like a trivial task, but a lot of, like you mentioned, there's a lot of roadblock as to how people can clearly communicate their ideas, technical ideas, essentially?
Okay. So like I said, if you want to start writing, a good framework is have a problem statement in terms of what you're trying to achieve. Try documenting your thought process in how you thought about the problem, the possible solutions, where you got resources. From your thought process, you can definitely build out content based on that framework, and definitely your final solution, if it was working, if it was not working. These are also like possible outcomes of like a possible article. And not necessarily every time has to end on a very good note. You can still probably watch out for next series or the next article where I try to still go deeper into solving it, but this was one way I went about it, and looking forward to more. So you're actually building your audience in terms of expecting more from you and stuff. So probably the best way is solve your own problems first, document it, document your thought process, and document the outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. I know we have a question in the chat. Well, I'm curious, like we are all African learners, and that's one of the things that, in fact, the core set of people that AI Community Africa enables are African learners, African talents, essentially. And how can African talents position themselves globally in these hybrid roles that require like both technical and people-facing skills? Because it does seem like you've nailed both of them. You're a great technical engineer, but also you have like these people-facing skills that you also nailed down that is also essential for an evangelist's role.
Okay, first of all, everything is learnable in terms of communication. I'm still improving on that, as well as your technical skills is still improving. So these are skills that you can actually learn. So first off, I would tell you should focus on like look yourself as a global talent, because when I was in Nigeria back in like early 2018, I was writing the first company I wrote for was actually out of like the country, and they saw my work on Medium. I was like, wow, could you write for us? So think of like your work being seen in the global space. We are in a world where people don't tend to look at like in terms of articles. You don't actually care where the writer is, if it's quality, if it's impactful to you. You don't actually tend to look where that person is from. So don't look yourself like as an African learner or an African writer or something like that. Look yourself as a global writer. That's one. Then in terms of communication skills, be open to engagement. No one knows it all. Open for engagement in terms of community. Talk about what you know. Get in touch with people. The earlier you start speaking, the better you get at it. So definitely, these are skills that you can actually learn, and also focus on the core technical part, because developer advocates, it might seem quite like more customer facing, but you actually have to have like technical there, because there's a lot of demo buildings in terms of when you're talking with maybe B2B, you share demos with like other companies. So you have to actually be very good at what you do to actually excel in the role as well.
Right, that makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you for sharing those. We have two questions from the learners, the graduates of today. And the first question is from Divine, and he mentioned, what will be the difference between a dev evangelist and a product manager? Because your explanation seems to fit the role of a product manager.
Okay, what will be the difference between dev evangelist and product manager? Okay, so from where I would see the two as different is a project manager mostly focused on the project side of it, and in terms of getting requirements and making the product better. But dev evangelist goes beyond just the product in terms of like the community around the product, in terms of like sharing articles. When I share articles, I don't share it to like only people using our product. It's still general to like the community around that product. So that would be a very good way to differentiate in terms of the developer evangelist focus more like the developer community out there, and trying to like get more feedback and like improve that community. And more of a project manager is more focused on just improving the the products rather. Yeah.
Awesome. And we have a final question, and from Israel. He mentioned, how would you advise one who is interested in DevRel and dev evangelist roles to start their career in the space?
Okay. So my advice would be the two areas I pointed out. Good, you already have like technical skills as you're graduating from the program, which is great. Now what you need to do is start communicating what you know in terms of writing articles, giving talks. There are so many available options for you to reach out to. Even the community here gives access to such platforms, so you can actually give out talks, write articles, try to see how like your communication can actually improve, because a lot has to do with your communication skills. When you go for events, how you talk to partners, how you talk to various developers as well. So think of it as a long career path in terms of you actually have to build your technical skills as well as your communication skills, because I haven't seen a dev rel that is not very good in communication skills and only focus on the technical part of it. So it's you have to build more of like a master of the two parts. So currently, since you're just graduating, you already have like the technical skills, which can also get better. Focus on improving your communication skills, and who knows, in no time you can actually get a dev rel position.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things we're doing as well is that we're actually working on making these career paths a lot more tailored, making them more structured in a way like people sort of interact and then get to understand the skills and also get to be mentored up until the time where they could potentially get an entry level role, or they are confident enough to go apply for roles on their own. So thank you so much, Brain. I think that will be the end of the session, and back to you, Fumike. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. And congratulations once again to all the graduates. See you at the top.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Brain. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Brain, for that amazing session. I believe that we have an insight into what a day or a life or what to expect if you're looking forward to delving into ML, into developer evangelist. Thank you so much, Mr. Brain, for that wonderful session. Yeah, we're moving on. As an announcement, a quick one. Today, we're saying that we're celebrating everyone who has been dedicated to the journey so far. And because we have different career tracks, there are different people, different industry experts who will be coming to tell us so much about we have the opportunity to ask questions about what it looks like in the real world. So if you have any question, please drop them in the chat box. As the speakers are, having the conversation, as the conversation is on, please do well to drop your own question and we'll definitely attend to them. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're moving on to the next speaker for today, and that is Emmanuel Okorie. Emmanuel Okorie. He will be walking us through what it means, what a day in the life of a data engineer, what it looks like, So if you are looking forward to delving into data engineering, or your own career track was data engineering, if you're a data engineer or you're looking forward to becoming one, please drop it in the chat box. We want to see you. And we have Emmanuel Okorie. Emmanuel Okorie is a data engineer with almost 10 years of experience helping companies build reliable data pipelines and extract insight from complex data sets. He has worked across various industries and regions, from fintech and e-commerce to health tech and clean energy, with roles in Europe, the Middle East, Africa, and the US. Emmanuel is passionate about using data to solve real-world problems and currently focuses on building scalable cloud-based data systems. He is based in Rwanda. Emmanuel Okorie, we are happy to have you. So Emmanuel, over to you. You're welcome to this call.
Hi, thank you so much for that introduction. Once again, congratulations to everyone that's made it to the finish line, and extra kudos to the winners. Of course, as Brain mentioned, like the sky is your limit. And yeah, thanks for having me join this session, where I'll get to talk to you about my life or my journey as a data engineer. Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you so much again, Emmanuel. Just 5 years ago, we had our first session with you, where we went through a day in your life as a data scientist or a data analyst. And 5 years back, we are doing your life as a data engineer. So I think it's great. So if you're looking for the session with Emmanuel from 5 years ago, which was actually around the pandemic era, I think, so you can check our YouTube channel to see that he's been doing amazing work in this area and also been giving back a lot to our community. So we're really, really excited to have him join us today. And I think, Emmanuel, I guess let's look at the journey again. Can you just sort of share your journey into data engineering? Because 5 years back, we knew for sure you were like this ML data science guru, but now what has inspired you to pursue this path in data engineering, and how has that evolved? How has your role evolved over the years, essentially?
Sure. Thanks, Steven. So yeah, actually, as I already mentioned, I started my career in data analytics, data science, where I was building dashboards, tracking business KPIs, also like putting together credit risk models for fintech companies. And over time, I did find I found myself more interested in the back end work. Something related to setting up pipelines, optimizing performance, and also like managing infrastructure. And that curiosity, kind of like led me into data engineering. Like I found love in data engineering and decided to explore what that field is all about. And yeah, of course, it has presented me with opportunity to work across, will I say basically like the globe. And also with companies in different industries, including fintech, health tech, renewable energy. And yeah, of course, my role has evolved from just, moving data from one source to a destination to designing like a proper resilient systems that, has positive business growth and business impact.
Yeah, and I feel like you're well suited for this particular question here. And it's like you've been a data analyst, you've been a data scientist, and now obviously you're working as a data engineer. And what's the difference? Because these are different career tracks we've had in the DataCamp program now that our community has freely provided for thousands of learners or the hundreds of learners that have been going through this program. What's the difference between a data engineer's career path, a data analyst career path, and a data scientist career path, essentially, from your perspective?
Yeah, thank you. That's an interesting question. Well, in my opinion, I would say data analysts, in 2 words, they explore and they explain, and data scientists experiment and predict. Why data engineers, we enable and we scale things. So let's say in the world of software engineering, like data engineers, we are like the back end guys that never gets credit for the efforts that we put in place, to enable the systems or to enable data scientists do their work, and also data analysts, extract data from the data warehouse or database and build the dashboards. So we never get the credits because at the end of the day, what the business sees is the beautiful dashboards or the model that has very perfect evaluation metric. So my role as a data engineer basically is just to ensure that data is trustworthy, accessible, and also like depending on the business use case, if they want data to be kind of near real time. So of course, my responsibility is to make sure like data is fully accessible and also in a timely manner. So yeah, if you would ask me to differentiate between between analysts, data scientists, and data engineer, these keywords that I mentioned here, analysts, of course, they explore and explain. Data scientists do all the beautiful AI and ML parts, which is experimenting and predicting. While data engineers, of course, we enable and we scale.
Yeah, this is going to be a soundbite for our shorts. So thank you so much for sharing that. And let's go into the meat. What does a day in the life of a data engineer working remotely from Kigali look like?
Interesting. Well, I would pretty much say it involves first of all collaboration, because since it's a remote settings, I find myself, working with people distributed across the globe in different time zones, also from different backgrounds. So yeah, I have to collaborate with them. And first thing first, kick up with the meetings, the sync up meetings where we get to discuss, what's the scope of the project and the status on where we are, and then do some code reviews, create PRs, review PRs, deploy or merge the PRs, and also deploy, set up a deployment strategies, and also focus on the actual implementations, writing the designing implementations, and also the meeting aspect. Like, yeah, you have to meet with cross-functional departments, because they are the ones that are consuming the results of whatever thing that we are or I am building. So of course I need to sync up with them, gather requirements from risks department, marketing department, finance department, also the stakeholders. So yeah, it's more or less like collaboration, meetings, code reviews, the actual core implementations, and yeah, that's pretty much a typical day in my life as a data engineer.
So you don't grab coffee?
Well, yeah, of course I do, but yeah, that's the benefit of working remotely. Like, there is no fixed time. You can always juggle around the between the two. So yeah, I do not have a fixed time for grabbing coffee, but yeah, of course, like there is always a window to try out some other stuff.
That makes sense. And let's dig into your work right now. Could you kind of walk us through a recent real-world data engineering project you've done, like just conceptually from business to solution, the way you spoke with stakeholders, and then how you were able to sort of provide solution to the problem technically?
Yeah, sure. So I would talk about like my experience at Postpay. Postpay is a fintech company that delivers buy now and pay later solutions to customers in the Middle East, UAE, and also Saudi Arabia. And yeah, of course, when I joined, there was no data warehouse. Like, everything was sitting in the production environment, which was hosted on RDS, AWS RDS, Postgres database to be precise. And yeah, of course, the business goal was to move away from extracting data from the production environment to a more suitable environment, which is data warehouse, that would aid analytics, data science modeling, and all of that. So yeah, it's a huge project, because the business was generating, like, we are serving, by the way, we're serving over 1 million customers, and the data is very, very huge. So the first thing first is to gather requirements. It's something that I always emphasize. I always talk to junior data engineers. Make sure you understand the requirements, so that you don't miss out on the specific simple details, or even try to over-engineer something that you could either simplify. Like, so the first thing first was to gather requirements, set up meetings with cross-functional department to understand their data needs, to know how data impacts their daily activity. So department like risk, they want to see like the approval rates, the rejection rates. They want to see they want to see how much money revenue that the business is making, and also the losses as well. Marketing department, they want to be able to see the effectiveness of their marketing campaigns, the strategies, everything they're implementing, and also the stakeholders on a general level, they want to see how well the business is doing. So understanding the requirements, and also trying to figure out if they are interested in having a near real-time or data that is fresh. It's also an important requirement to take into consideration before you start developing, the actual pipeline. So yeah, having concluded with the whole requirements gathering, setting up the meetings, now the next thing is the implementation phase, or the architectural plan. Based on the requirements, business, they were not interested in real-time data. Go to simple batch. No need to over-engineer things, because some people always think that businesses care about having a real-time data, like data that is in real time. Maybe some transaction was generated like few seconds ago. They want to have it in data warehouse ASAP. But that's not the case. Business, they don't really care about it. They want to see maybe what happened the previous day. So you have to take this into consideration and then set up a batch pipeline. And that was essentially what I did. Choice of tool, Airflow is there. I use Airflow as an orchestration tool to manage the entire the workload. Then, due to the size of the data that we have, instead of running everything like on the Airflow instance, I used AWS Glue. Glue is basically like a fully managed PySpark service that is offered by AWS. So how easy to connect to the data sources that we have, which is Postgres. We do have some data that is sitting on DynamoDB. So I extracted data from there, did the transformations, basic transformations, and then staged it on S3, which is what I call like it's our data lake. And from data lake, import into Redshift, which is data warehouse, the choice of our choice of data warehouse. And personally, I always like to do my transformations in SQL, using SQL. It makes it very, very easy. It makes it readable. Everyone is familiar. I believe everyone is familiar with SQL. So it's pretty easy to maintain. You can also build a layer that is an external tool called DBT on top of it. So I use SQL DBT to be precise to do the transformations within Redshift environment. Started developing the data model, based on the business requirements, having started with the cross-functional department to know the cross-functional leads to understand how data impacts their daily activities. And then I built the semantic layers, the data marts, and then handed it over to the business. So this entire data engineering project, how did it impact the business? Yes, now the business have a sense of what is going on a day-to-day basis or in a timely manner. And then data scientists got on board and started building machine learning models to aid creditworthiness assessments in the business in real time. Data analysts were building a dashboard on top of this data warehouse solution that is sitting on Redshift. And yeah, cross-functional departmental leads, they have access to whatever data, variety of data that they need to make informative decisions. So it's an interesting project. And by the way, I forgot to mention the challenge. One of the key challenge was trying to translate the R requirement, cross-functional department lead requirement, to something that is much more feasible. Yeah, that's one of the challenges that you will face. So when you're talking with someone that has limited knowledge regarding the core tools, like what is technically possible or technically feasible, it's a bit difficult. So you just have to find a way to deliver something that covers that meets their expectations. It's a bit of challenge, but yeah, of course, with clear communication, I was able to navigate through this hurdle and achieve the objective.
Fantastic. You just walked us through a lot of the things, and it's exciting because when learners go into the real world, from the program, they get to see these things, they get to encounter some of these tools, and just link them back to the conversations you've had already. Oh, okay, this is what Emmanuel did, so this is what this tool is useful for, and I think it's important. So we have quite a number of questions from our learners graduating today. Thank you so much again for volunteering. And the first one is from Tenwa. He asked, if somebody wants to be a data engineer, which certification can they look forward to acquire or get a first job, essentially?
Well, I would ultimately, by the way, like, is it someone that is coming from a non-data background or someone that is transitioning? I want to be very specific. So,
if you can be specific about that, if you can unmute and say something.
Someone like who has done maybe a technology, like I did computer science at campus. So just want to know, like, if I want to go into data engineering, what certification do I need?
Well, I would honestly advise you to not focus more on the certification, but rather focus on the actual skill sets, the tools, the technologies that are needed. Reason being that, of course, in order for you to break through into the whole world of data engineering, certifications are very important. Yes, you need it in order to showcase your proficiency, but you should spend more time trying to understand the tools, the technologies that are required. So pick any choice of any cloud services of your choice. There are two popular, actually three. AWS is there, GCP is there, and then Microsoft is there. Each of these cloud services, they offer like variety of services, like tools that you could use to achieve or solve a data engineering problem. So first, choose what platform you want to learn. I would recommend AWS. I'm not. This is not a paid or sponsored ad or something, but I would recommend AWS because it does has like quite huge variety of services that would help you solve specific problems. So first thing, pick a cloud service. Try to understand the cloud platform. Try to understand the various services that are related for a data engineer. Learn, understand, practice, and then after maybe 2 to 3 years of working experience, you can then pursue certifications, because I would not advise you to start learning AWS service just for the sake of getting this AWS professional data engineer certificate, because you would really struggle. It's always better to learn first, practice, and then pursue the certification. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks. I would hope so as well. And the second question is from Divine. Thank you, Tanwa, for asking a question, and thank you, of course, Emmanuel, for answering. The second question is from Divine, and he asks, which of the career paths do you find more satisfying or satisfaction in? Data analysis, data science, or data engineering?
Well, I personally, if you would ask me, that's my own opinion, I would say that data engineering is much more satisfying. Reason being that over the past, would I say recently, data engineering roles have kind of evolved from the ETL, the traditional ETL, where you extract data, transform, load. It has moved towards something related to analytics. So you see companies hiring roles for analytics engineering. So what does that mean? That is a combination of data analytics and engineering, core data engineering. If you try to maybe research about the data, let's say on an average, like the typical responsibilities of data engineers who are working in Facebook, Google, what they are doing is, to me, it seems like analytics, like data analytics. They are writing core SQL, but then they are also like exposed to the data engineering aspect. Like you write your SQL queries, schedule it using Airflow, and then convert the results into a model, a data model. So if you would ask me, like my main satisfaction would be data engineering, because yeah, of course, like I mentioned, things have changed. Businesses are looking beyond just the core traditional ETL person, but now they are focused more on someone that has that analytical exposure, because it will really help you to translate these core will I say technologies into something that a non-technical person will be able to understand. So yeah, I would ultimately, like, I find data engineering like more satisfactory.
Right. The next question is, would you suggest going into data engineering without any knowledge of data science or data analytics?
Of course, I would. Of course, it's possible. You should. But yeah, the skills are kind of similar, but the approach is different. So you're learning SQL not for analytics purpose. You're learning SQL to be able to build a data mart. So you most likely be working with DDLs and DMLs, like you are selecting tables, you're working with CTEs, you're building like custom table expression CTE, and you're using more of window functions, the row number, the dense rank, and all of that. That is the kind of SQL, core SQL, not the analytical SQL where you're trying to do some average, you're trying to extract data or to answer a business question. So I would pretty much say the skills are similar, but the use case is different. You learn Python as a data scientist. You also need Python as a data engineer to be able to do the transformation, handle the data transformation. But as a data scientist, you need Python to be able to use, the pandas framework, the ML libraries, and all of that. And visualization is also something that is kind of similar, because as a data engineer, you need to be able to visualize your pipelines. You need to be able to see, to be able to profile your data, to know like the number of missing values, duplicates. There are several things you could use a visualization tool for in order to monitor and like observe your systems. So, but as a data analyst or data scientist, you ultimately use like a visualization tool to report KPIs, business KPIs. So yeah, the skills are similar, but the implementation or the use case is different.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And we have another question on mentoring, but just to let you know, Divine, we're actually preparing a pathway. So Emmanuel is very much going to be with us when it comes to coming in occasionally to mentor. He's been part of the community for a really long time now, has been obviously sharing his knowledge with us. So we're actually preparing paths for mentorship for each of these different DataCamp tracks. So I think the fourth question, which I think is very important, is how would you know if the data engineering role is the best fit for you?
Well, it depends on your passion, right? If
Right.
if you are into more of research, analytics, and all that scientific stuff, data engineering, unfortunately, is not for you. But if you are more if you're leaning towards the infrastructure side of things, building scalable, they are more into the back end side of data, like creating infrastructure, in enabling environment, scalable system. You're interested in scalability, you're a core builder, then data engineering is ultimately for you. So it depends on what you are, what drives your passion. If you are into research, science, and all of the modeling, data science, data analytics is for you. But if you're a core builder, you want to use technologies, like different variety of technologies, data engineering is for you.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And we're out of time. And Emmanuel, please, here's one more question from Tenwa. If you can answer that in the chat, that would be extremely helpful because we're way past time. So I'll pass this on. Thank you so much again for all your questions, learners. And obviously, thank you so much, Emmanuel, for being able to dedicate your time, share your knowledge. And as usual, it means so much to the community. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, back to you from again.
Thank you so much. That was a wonderful session, Emmanuel. Moving on, as promised, this graduation event is not just another graduation event. It's going to be an event that is filled with so much, takeaway. So please fasten your seatbelt. We've only begun. I'm sure that you start learning one or two things that you're going to hold after this graduation. Moving on, we'll be looking into insights into job markets and expectations for data analysts and engineers. So we're looking into insight into the job market, into what you're to expect as a data analyst. And this session moderator would be Jennifer Ebe. Pardon me if that's not correct. Jennifer is a data engineer as well, with foundation in mathematics and statistics. She's passionate about making data engineering more approachable and accessible by sharing insights on Medium and occasionally on Twitter. She also has a best-selling course on LinkedIn Learning. We are more than delighted and honored to have you speak with to us this morning, evening, or afternoon, wherever you're joining us from. Jennifer, you're welcome to the call. Over to you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer. Thank you so much, Anishola.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, for joining in yet again. Jennifer, again, has been a long time part of the community, again, over 5 years ago now, starting from Port Harcourt and now doing sort of global things. So it's really exciting. I think you were part of our first meetup, if I'm not mistaken, on AI and data science. And it's so crazy how much the evolution has sort of come through. And it just shows that tenacity and also the talent, essentially, that you sort of bring to the table. So really excited to have you on board today. And I think the first one is me giving us a sense of your journey into data engineering. Because just like Emmanuel, I think you started off as an analyst, and you spent way more time building visualizations and dashboards. And then obviously now you're spending more time, have this best-selling course, which I'm halfway through, by the way, on data engineering. So maybe walk us through your journey and how your background in math and stats have sort of helped you break into the field.
Okay, thank you. So my journey, well, I studied math and stats in University of Port Harcourt, and during my final year, it was interesting. I don't know if many people understand or know that I talk about it often, why I went into math and stats, or why I decided to study math and stats. I kept thinking that I was a clown. I actually thought that if I knew enough, I think one day someone told me about how you could use probability to predict anything. And in my mind, as a child, I thought that if I knew enough or I had enough data points, I could predict how my life would turn out. And so I was like, okay, if that can happen, then that means I should be studying statistics. And so I went to study math and statistics. Clearly, I did not predict that I would be here at this time. If I could predict stuff, I wouldn't even be doing this in general. But yeah, that's how I got into math and statistics. But then during my final year, during my projects, I had to use SPSS, and then it reignited that, like, how to like it was predictive analysis I was doing then. I think it was something about how my final year project was something about how consumption of Coke could lead to and yes, I know causation. Now I know. Then I didn't know. Causation is not correlation. Sorry, the causation is not correlation or one of the other, but like just because they're correlated doesn't mean it causes the other one. So like it was about how Coca-Cola, and if you drink at least one bottle of Coca-Cola a day, when you turn 40, 50, you end up with diabetes or high blood pressure or like one of the other diseases. And yes, and so I used SPSS and I was super excited. I was like, you know what? This is gonna make me a millionaire. I was just thinking, I was just like, if I can predict this, and I was like, girls, only the one to take is like, I was gonna in my mind, I was gonna build a model that was going to be like, oh, you can only take like 20 cl of like Coca-Cola, and if you do that, you're cheating the system. Clearly, that did not work. But then I was really interested in SPSS, so I started learning that, and then I went to data analytics because I think naturally it was the progression for most of us at then. I did data analysis for a while. It was really fun, but I felt like I had barely scratched the surface. Like, as much as I loved data analysis, I really hated talking to people. Like, I do not like people that much. So, and when you're a data analyst, your job is literally communicating to stakeholders, communicating to everybody, business, about business facts and, everything. And I was just like, this cannot be the life that Jesus wanted me to live. And so I was like, generally just looking for what the next step would be. Coincidentally, that was when I met Steven. That was the first one, and the very first meetup. I think Steven doesn't know this, but he's the one that pushed me into data, not pushed me, but guided me into data engineering. I was looking for the next step, and I had just started like data science on DataCamp. Actually, that was 2017. Yeah, on DataCamp. Actually, I started data science track on DataCamp. I was almost 50% done, but I didn't know if that was really what I wanted to do. It didn't seem like. It seemed like more to me at the time. Obviously now my opinion has changed. It seemed like data analysis on steroids, and that's really not what I wanted to do, because it meant rather I would keep talking to stakeholders and communicating stuff and all of that, but just a bit more intense. But then Steven at the first meetup spoke about like different parts in data, and it doesn't just have to be data analysis, and he mentioned data engineering. And then after the meetup, and I was like, hey, what is data engineering? And then he told me about it, but then I forgot. Like, he told me and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go home and just like kind of research about it. Obviously I forgot. And then one day I was building this like model, and I had just spent like maybe 60% of my time building, like cleaning the data, and I was very frustrated. So I tweeted that this cannot be like life, like spending 60% of your time, cleaning data and all of that. And then somebody responded to me, and a person was like, that like that's what data engineering is for, right? And then I was like, oh, wait, I've actually heard this before. And then I went to DataCamp. I went back and I went to see if I could find anything on data engineering. I looked at it and I loved it. And then I went back to DataCamp and I switched my track to data engineering. And that's how I'm here. So thank you to everybody, actually, because I feel like it was a team effort getting me to data engineering. So
It was surely a team effort getting there, but I think it's interesting because it does look like from the common pattern is that you start off with analytics, and then maybe you try science, and then if science doesn't work, you just find yourself in data engineering, or some people find themselves somewhere else, right? But they don't just start on the analyst track, which I think is very interesting. But I think when it comes to recruiters, because I think you might have encountered this before, or just before we come to recruiters, I think one of the things that I sort of admire about you is how much you're able to sort of share your knowledge out there. I love the aspect of teaching. I love the aspect of education, but you take that to a whole new level. And what inspired you to start writing or sharing your experiences on Medium and Twitter? And how has that sort of shaped your career path? Because I know for sure that would have influenced one or two recruiters that maybe reached out to you, and then just share the gist.
Yeah, thanks. So the reason why I really wanted to share was, I think when I started learning from DataCamp, it enables you learn, but then sometimes when you build products on your own, which you're really advised to build on your own, because like with DataCamp, it might feel like you're just writing the answers, but then you have access to those data sets, and then you can just go on your own path and just like, try to create projects. When I tried to create projects and I ran into issues, all the articles I read were by old white men, first of all. And also, they made it very complicated. It was very upsetting because I tell people that the reason why I share knowledge is because I feel like it should be simplified as much as possible, as much as you can simplify it. If someone asks you, mention a fruit that starts with A, you can say apple, and anywhere in the world it is acceptable. Like, I want it to be as simple as A is for apple, and whenever you try to or someone asks you mention something that starts with an A and you say apple, it's going to be acceptable. So like, I really wanted to share knowledge that was like everybody didn't make it so complicated. Like, why are you making it so hard? If you understand, like, if you can explain, you know how they usually say don't invest in something you cannot explain to a 5-year-old. It's that I usually say, if you understand something or if you know something, you can explain it to a 5-year-old. Obviously not a 5-year-old, but like, you can really, really simplify it. Not dumb it down, but like simplify it. So I really wanted to share knowledge that was simplified so that it would not be first of that if someone wrote an article, they'll say, oh, you go and read 3 articles back. And I don't have the patience or the time for that. So I really just wanted to share knowledge that was simplified. That's one. Secondly, with sharing knowledge, it has also helped me learn. You know that thing that they say about if you teach someone, you're learning it better. That also it also helps me learn. So it also helped me grow. So yes, there was the selfish aspect to it, but then there was also like the recruiters who sometimes when you share, whether you're building in public or you're sharing what you know, it signals to other people that you're growing or you're trying or you're putting yourself out there. So it helps recruiters also like say, hey, this person seems like a good fit, or maybe you write an article on something or you share a project on something, and the company that's recruiting or whatever is currently working with that thing. It signals that, oh, this person has enough base knowledge. And as much as there are a lot of people like in quote data engineering, not a lot of people know a lot of things. Like, it's a very, very broad field. So sometimes when you signal to like, oh, I have this niche or I know about this particular thing, it signals to people looking for that, hey, this person is like, would be a good fit for like my organization. So sometimes sharing too can also help you, like help the right people find you. Yeah.
Right. And that's such an important point. And speaking of sharing, what kind of projects or portfolios do you think would impress recruiters the most for data roles? Could you like share examples of things that maybe might have worked well for you and stuff?
To be honest, yeah. One thing I started doing last year was it's kind of silly, but if a recruiter reaches out to me, I don't say no. I don't want the job, but I don't say no. And I just go through the technical phase just to solve the problem. And then sometimes I publish it. That's one thing. I remember like first off, it helps me grow. but then also I know what people are kind of expecting, right? And then it shows that, oh, this is like, usually when recruiters give you, or when a company gives you what's it called, it's based on like, it's supposed to showcase all the parts of like data engineering, stakeholder management, thinking about the business, that's if you're in analytics anyways, your use of technologies, your coding skills, and all of that, being able to do all of that. So I think that recruitment tests are a good mix, like they have a good mix of you to show all those kind of things. So I usually do that, or something that I am passionate about. It could be, for example, if I'm passionate about like cost of maybe living, I could just, it must not be like something that is like, oh, I built this pipeline to take data from AWS to GCP. It doesn't have to be that. It could just be something you're passionate about. Like actually there's something behind it, like there's a purpose behind it. If not, like I feel like most of the portfolios kind of look alike these days, but like I think what sets people apart, or what I think that people should focus on, is something where there's a particular like motive, or there's something personal behind it, right? It kind of sets you apart on how you do it, and also the kind of projects you take on, or the kind of products you want to build. I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh, fair enough. That makes a lot of sense. At least on my part. So if you have any questions, you feel like something is missing, something doesn't connect, please leave them in the chat. Just have a few minutes left to go through this. And I think one of the things that you mentioned, Jennifer, was that you went through the DataCamp phase. And usually one of the complaints that we get from learners is that they feel stuck between finishing courses and actually getting hired. Most of the people today have they've sort of come in and they've said, hey, we're done with this track. What next? And some of them have probably not even completed it, but they're kind of finding their next job and everything. What's usually the missing bridge between, or what's your advice for people who feel stuck between finishing courses and actually trying to get hired?
So that's the thing. Finishing courses is it's a different ball game. Like it's very different. It's not even the thing that gets you hired. For me, almost every year, I try to finish, like, DataCamp updates their track. I try to redo the track, but it's not about finishing the courses, because one thing I found with DataCamp is, especially when you're auto-completing the answers, right? Like, I don't know if everybody gets that, where it's like, you did, maybe, for example, in the previous place, you created a list, and now you're iterating through the list. So the first one, they give you the list to create, and then you create it, and the next one, you're iterating through the list. It feels like you're going through a series of just check boxes. That's not actually what gets you hired. It's what you're able to do after that or during that. Sometimes with in DataCamp, one thing I love about it is they tell you that this data set is available for you. Leave the platform, like you do the thing, leave the platform, go and build projects. And that is just like, people like say, oh, maybe there's no data source. DataCamp actually gives you like opportunities or access to a lot of data sources, like a lot of like variety of data sources. So I don't think it's finishing the course that gets you hired or shows you expertise. What gets you hired is showing you expertise, but finishing the course doesn't necessarily show you expertise. You need to build projects. You need to talk about the work you're doing. You need to meet the right people, because as much as we talk about this, there is the aspect of luck. A lot of it is luck, and also your colleagues, like the people you're learning with. One thing that I've learned recently is people always try to network like up, but I figure I actually know now it's better to network like laterally, because it's your guy, it's your babe that would get that job and say, oh, we're looking for somebody else, or the place I left before is whatever. But it's coming together, collaborating, using something to show your expertise. And it doesn't just have to be you. For example, I have a couple of projects that have collaborated on with like Boris. A lot of you know Boris. He's a machine learning engineer, a data scientist. I don't know what he goes by these days. But like it's a lot of that. It's a lot of pushing ourselves to I couldn't solve this least code question, or can you collaborate on this article with me, or can you help me solve this, or I saw this question, I couldn't solve it. Can we, come together and do all of that? I think it's showing your expertise that gets you hired, but I'm not also putting down the fact that you need to network, and then there is the aspect of luck, obviously.
All right, cool stuff. Thanks again, Jennifer. I appreciate it. So we have 2 questions in the chat. And obviously you can jump in the chat at any point to take the rest of the questions. And the first one is, you mentioned there from Divine, he said you mentioned there are several niches in data engineering. Can you sort of share some of those niches you mentioned?
Okay, so I think that the more people get hired, the more the job title changes. I currently, where I'm working, I got hired as a data engineer. However, what I'm doing is more analytics engineering. And then there is the data platform team, which is still in data engineering technically. So I would say there is when I mean niches, I would think there is like the data platform engineer and the analytics engineer. But then there are some people who are just like doing everything, managing the cloud platform, the DevOps, and all of that. So when I mean niches, it's not that you can specialize on something. Actually, people are hiring a lot for data platform engineers right now. So you have to be more DevOps focused and good. I actually think that this engineering is where data analytics, cloud, software engineering, and DevOps come to meet. So for maybe a data platform engineer, you have to be really good at, for example, you have to be really good at DevOps and maybe software engineering and the cloud technologies. And then the data analytics, it's like, okay, whatever. For an analytics engineer, you have to have business knowledge more. Python, obviously, or like not software, not Python, like software. And then the DevOps is actually optional. You just know how to, you just have to know how to like, you can Google. That's basically it. So when I mean niches, that's kind of what I mean.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So thanks again, Jennifer. There are more questions in the chat, so if you could stick around, for a few more minutes to answer the questions in the chat, that would be great. Otherwise, thank you so much, Jennifer, again. It's been years and years of contributing to the community. We appreciate your efforts, and especially looking forward to seeing what you do next as well. By the way, Jennifer says she learns every year on DataCamp, so that's something to take note, everyone. So even pros do the learning, obviously. Thank you again. Back to you, Funke.
Great. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for that wonderful insight and amazing session that we've had with you. I'm certain now that many of us have learned a lot myself, what we are to look out for and what is expected, when we go out there into the job market. This is not the end, right? Permit me to say that this is just the beginning, right? So we are looking forward to, telling us so much about what AI Community Africa has in store for you, right? Into real world expectations for machine learning engineering. We'll be listening to Abimbola Olawale Victor while his session is being displayed. It's a pre-recorded session, so please fasten your seatbelt and listen. Okay, so while that is coming up, I would tell you about the speaker. He is a data and machine learning engineer at the media agency squad of Sainsbury in London, UK, with over 6 years of experience and a background in mathematics and applied statistics. Okay, it develops real-time AI systems and scalable data pipelines that support better marketing performance and decision making. His work focuses on deploying scalable machine learning models and data pipelines into production to deliver robust data-driven solutions. So yeah, let's give it up for Abimbola Olawale. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone. My name is Olawale Abimbola. I am a data and machine learning engineer. I currently work with the media agency squad of Sainsbury's in London. For those that don't know, Sainsbury's is probably the second largest, if not the first, of the supply chain of supermarkets in the United Kingdom. my background is in applied mathematics and statistics, and yeah, which has laid the major foundation of my problem solving and analytical skills. I have over 6 years of experience around building, deploying, and maintaining data and machine learning pipelines. I love seeing my machine learning models work in production. Yeah, that's pretty much about me.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing that again. You talked about your problem solving and analytical skills, and I'm just guessing because some of the graduates from the DataCamp program here, they've been through the data science track, the machine learning track on DataCamp, and DataCamp we're always grateful for the opportunity to provide high quality data education and opportunities to our members in the African continent here. And I'm just curious, how did you transition from a mathematics or statistics background to becoming more of an ML engineer? What were the skills that were required or critical during this transition process?
Oh, thank you, Stephen. So for that, yeah, I didn't start as an ML engineer, for sure. I started my career while I was still in school. I just know I wanted something better than probably what I was doing right then. And while looking at my career path, I know that yeah, I wanted something better. And one of the things I started doing was I started as a data analyst, where I was doing statistical analysis, data analysis while I was still in school. And I took up freelance projects, some that I don't even know of, and started researching and stuff like that, right? And I also build myself with academic projects, and that's as build my skills when it comes to the data part and data analysis part, right? While I was going through that, I bumped into the coding aspect and the ML aspect, which is something that really looks exciting to me. So I started online courses like that of DataCamp. I started looking at online courses, started learning I started with Python, which is something that is very important. Though as at that time, I know I was writing R, but I noticed that to fast track my path, I need to understand Python as a programming language too. So I focused more on Python, and then I started looking at scikit-learn, pandas, and the rest, which is related to data science skills, right? And these skills let me, I focused on, even after learning one or two, I need to also build a project with it, right? Which will be the go-to, or I would say the acceptance criteria that I have actually learned this particular module and something like that. And over the years, after I transitioned as a data analyst to being a data scientist, though I did not spend a whole lot of time within the data science career path, I would say, but I found something more exciting around seeing my work really in production and building things into production. And that is why I focus my career path more on machine learning engineer and machine learning operations, right? MLOps. And so in terms of skills that you need, apart from you, even for the fact that you want to focus on being an ML engineer, you should also focus on understanding the basic data science, how basic data science works. And also for you being an ML engineer, you should be able to bring data models that are built to production. So you need to understand at least one programming language. You should be able to wrap your models into API. You should be able to probably orchestrate it, wrap it up in Docker and stuff like that. And you should also understand how you could host your model or deploy your models into cloud environment. You could look into AWS or Azure or GCP, depending on what you actually need. And if you say, do you need maths, right, to succeed in this area? Actually, not necessary. Though, if you really want to understand some models and how it works, you will need some little understanding of some calculus, of some linear algebra and stuff like that. But yeah, that's basically it. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, because that's definitely usually one of the follow-ups that we have when it comes to people that have math background, is they ask, do we need math? And I think it's to give that caveat there. And I think the next question really goes into what your day-to-day looks like. So what does a day in the life of an ML engineer look like in
So my day starts by 9 in the morning. Yeah, it starts early as 9 a.m. And what I do is building and maintaining data pipelines, right? With Sainsbury's. So it's more of, we have different ML models and different data pipelines. So if you talk about tools that I'm using, I work majorly around Snowflakes and dbt, right? And I also work with Airflow, Apache Airflow, for orchestration of these models. And my work majorly around there is maintaining those data pipelines. And for some of these pipelines, there are issues in production, obviously, which we actually try to maintain data leakage, inconsistent data and stuff like that. Apart from that, I'm also working on different projects around LLMs and also some other ML model to predict campaigns, outputs and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's usually when you have ML engineers, it's all about the models, and you, and I'm seeing now that you also deal with the data pipelines. It's also very important to sort of note for graduates of this program is that, you know, you need multiple skills to succeed as well.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, it's not about you. If you see the way I introduced myself, I said I am a data and I'm an ML engineer. So I don't do fully ML engineer. My work is split into those areas, I would say.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense. And let's go into the advice for learners, because they've gone through 12 months of arduous programs. Some of them have gone through 6 months of arduous learning. You know, what advice would you give to graduates looking to showcase their DataCamp learning through personal project portfolios? How do you arrange your portfolio to get a job at Sainsbury?
I would say for someone that is just coming up, my first advice is don't just build models, build projects. Right? It is quite important because with all of this learning, for you to be able to say you really, really understand, or you want to really tell people, right, that you know what you're doing, you can show that through projects. Set up a GitHub portfolio, choose a domain you want to focus on to apply your skill. You can look, for example, if you're looking towards data science problem, you can focus on health, you can focus on e-commerce, you can focus on something. And it is good you show that in each project you show that you can build, you have an understanding of how to take a model from the preliminary stage to a sort of production stage. So I would say, if you want to do that, it is better. For example, I can take a churn prediction as a model. After I have built that, I will want to take it to the next level by wrapping it up in an API, right? Probably Flask or Fast API or something. I will want to deploy it somewhere. And thank God for live the way the world is now, there are some free platforms that you could. It's not like that when I was starting my career anyways. For example, Render, you could host your API freely on Render or stuff like that. You can deploy it somewhere, maybe wrap it up in Docker and deploy it. Create a solid portfolio for yourself and make it open to the world to see. Because if anybody wants to employ you today, they don't want to. The first thing they want to see is what exactly have you built before, even before they want to talk to you. So the best thing I would say is have a portfolio. You can host your portfolio on GitHub pages. You can have a very solid data science portfolio where you build different projects, solving different problems, and let it be out there, because that is what your selling point. That is where the recruiter would see and say, okay, this person knows something, I want to have a conversation.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because now you want to be able to interact with it, and now you, like you said, make it a project. Meaning, what is the outcome that this particular technology influences?
Yeah.
When they see, they can map it. Oh, this guy can actually translate, or this lady can translate what they've done here to our business problem, to our business challenge. Now it's no longer technical. It's not, can you fit culturally? That makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think you've had a ton of experiences, even working obviously from the beginner stage, and then now you're obviously within a company and stuff and so forth. So you've seen the entry level, you've seen the beginner level, and all of those things. What would you say are like the biggest mistakes that junior data and ML professionals make when trying to apply ML to real world problems, and how can they avoid those mistakes?
When you are trying to, if I could get your question correctly, the problems where junior ML engineers make, and
yeah,
okay, entry level.
Are the mistakes you make when you want to, start working or start applying the things that you do, so that they stand on the shoulders of giants. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So for that, I would say one of the problems or mistakes I would say they do make on the beginner level is trying to it's not really a problem to me, I would say, but I would say it's the major thing I would say they do make mistake about is not taking time to understand the basics, right? If you understand the basics, you will be able to fly higher, right? For example, if you are learning something, maybe you want to understand how a programming language works, you should try to take your time to understand it to some extent and try to build projects. I would not stop saying projects, because project is what people would see first. Like, you need to have that online presence even after you even build your project. Build projects, make sure you build projects, make sure you have online presence. You could say there are some people that do say there are some guys that make noise online and all of those things. You need, I believe in something, which is, even as you've built your project, have an online portfolio, have an online visibility.
Yeah.
Because you are in one corner in your room building this stuff, yes, opportunity comes but once. The person that is not even building, or that has no solid portfolio than you have, but has an online visibility, will be visible more than you have. And that is where opportunities fly around. Yeah, so even as you're building your portfolio, try to write something about it on your LinkedIn, talk about it on your Twitter. Little you might not know, some of those people might be around and want to invite you for 1 or 2 projects, which might really change your life, because that is one of the things that actually gave me my first job.
Right, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Build your project and talk about it. Make sure you push out value at scale. And LinkedIn is a very big platform. X is a very big platform. Log in as well, but also help people dig into how you think about solving problems, which I think is really nice. And we have about 2-3 minutes left, so we'll just try to rush through this. And for learners, these graduates are actually preparing to get into the job markets. They are African graduates. They've been able to learn. They want to apply this continentally as well as globally as well. They want to be globally relevant. That's things that we encourage in AI Community Africa. And they'll be preparing to go into roles like yours, right? What technical or soft skills should they prioritize to stand out in the job market in less than 30 seconds?
In terms of technical, you should know you need a programming language. Python, you should try and understand some basic data structures and algorithm if you want to take your game to the next level, maybe the list, and all of that. Little ones, you might not, for myself, I do something. You can just have a lead code and just try and solve a problem a week. You would not know how this can take you even far. Just solving one problem on lead code or rank or something like that around data structures, that will take your game to the next level. That is 2. You should understand ML fundamentals, basic cloud tools, maybe something around AWS or Azure, and it should be as basic as bringing your data, your models from building stage to some sort of production state, deploying it in an cloud environment. You should also understand, if you're working around this part, you should also understand how to use probably Docker, so that you can containerize your model and stuff like that. In terms of soft skills, I would say communication, being able to translate technical details to something the stakeholders will understand, because they are the ones that want to hear from you, right? You might be communicating with different clients that doesn't understand technical terms. You must be able to understand the business logic and the business concept of each of those models you're working on and how it applies to the business, and being able to explain it in a layman's language to those people that at the stakeholder level that don't even understand these technical terms. You must be able to collaborate, and yeah.
Awesome. That was rapid fire. And we have, again, it's less than a minute, but quick one. If you were starting over today in the AI and ML world, what would you look to learn first? What would you pick up? What would be the first skill you pick up first in this day and age?
If I should want to learn again, I will start from the basics. Even after learning Python, I will want to understand the theoretical part of these models. How does it work?
Gen AI out there.
Yeah, how does it work? Before I could say, yes, I want to build, or build my own models and all of those things. Even after learning the programming language, I want to go deep into it. How does it work? What is the concept about it? Like, yeah, how does all of these things work and all of that? Yeah.
Yeah, so
That
learn
is where
how,
I was starting.
learn how the models work, learn how the APIs work, learn how the generative models vision, and before you begin to use it, go into you can
deep
learn
into it, something like that.
Yeah, so that you know how to troubleshoot when problems come as well. That makes a lot of sense. Are there any like recommended resources? One course, one book, one blog that sort of helped you during your career? Anyone that you want to recommend for learners?
Yeah. One of the courses I took that time is this Android courses. DataCamp was also one of the things I used because I got some free credit that time to use, which really helped with some of my learning speed. There was an Android course which talks about machine learning. I think it's on another platform like that.
Yeah, there.
Yeah, and another thing that really helped me is local community. Honestly, it really helps. Local community is the backbone of almost every engineer you could talk about. You can ask anywhere. Trust me, local community. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Communities like AI community, data science.
All of those. A lot of them are around, flying around.
And just find the one in your location, in your continent, in your city, and then reach out. Obviously, we have ours. You can register on AICommunityAfrica.org, and then we're more than happy to continue providing the resources and the network as well. And any final words of encouragement?
I would say for everyone hearing me, everyone starts somewhere, right? What matters is progress. No matter how you're going, make sure you never stop learning, because this current field is something that you keep learning day after day.
Right.
Build a public profile, seek feedback, and don't wait to be the expert. Yeah, before you start building. Start building now, and the sky's the limit.
Absolutely. And now it's all about taking what you've graduated with and going to apply that somewhere. Whether it's a small project like Abimbola has mentioned, just do that, and then you'll keep learning the skills as you build more projects. Well, thank you so much, Abimbola, for joining us today and taking time. I know you're quite engaged, and really appreciate the time you've given to the community and sharing your knowledge. And on behalf of AI Community Africa and DataCamp Donates, it looks like you're giving back to DataCamp now already. So thank you so much for joining us. And
thank you.
Where can viewers connect with you if they have maybe follow-up questions or they just want to follow your work essentially?
Yeah, you can connect to me on LinkedIn. I am very active there, and my email too. LinkedIn, if you search my name, Abimbola Olawale, you'll see me there. It's always boldly written. I work with Sainsbury, so that would help you streamline anything the search anyways.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thanks again.
All right. Great. Thank you so much. We're moving on. As I said, I'm sure that this has been an amazing experience. So you could see that you're not alone in this journey, right? Many of us have started as a data analyst, we started as a data scientist, we started as a data engineer, and then we're wondering, okay, I'm done. 1 year in DataCamp, what next? 1 year after learning on DataCamp, what's next? I'm sure that you've learned from these different industry experts on what is next for you, right? So you know the next step, you know what to do. If you're willing to delve into data engineering, there is definitely a route for you. If you're willing to remain as an analyst, there is definitely a way for you in it. So yeah, that's amazing. We're moving on to the next part of this graduation ceremony. We're moving on to the next item, which is looking at unveiling the registration for the next cohort, right? So I told you that we are not just here to, send you out there. You're done with 1 year. We have a lot of stores in store for you. So we'll be calling Mr. Tomiwa and Mr. Samuel to unveil the registration for the next cohort.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm sure you guys are having a very amazing time. I'm having a wonderful time here. I mean, the section from Abimbola was very insightful, very impactful. My notepad is full of of points and all. Yeah, so this is a very amazing moment for everyone. I'm sure everyone has been waiting and asking questions about what's next, when are we starting another cohort and all. And for most of us, this is an awakening call, because most of us, we had the opportunity to partake in the previous cohort, and for many of us, we were able to utilize this very well. And for some, they were not able to utilize the opportunity as much as they should. So yeah, this is the D-Day, and we are happy to announce the next 2025/2026 DataCamp / AI Community Africa Scholarship. So yeah, it's open, and we have the liberty and the opportunity to unravel and unveil this opportunity to our exclusive learners. I mean, this is the first time ever we are unveiling an opportunity like this to exclusively to our learners. So you all have the opportunity to jump in on the scholarship application form. First come, first serve. Our students, our core students, are the number one. Yeah, you can call it bias, but yeah, why won't we be biased? So you guys are open to start applying, and yeah, the deadline is just 2 weeks from now. That is on the 28th of this month. We will be closing out the form, so you better hurry and start applying. Thank you.
All right, I'm sure. Thank you so much, Mr. Tomiwa, for that. So yeah, you better hurry and start reapplying. So the application form is out, and of course, you are always welcome to reapply. So go through the application form and send in your application. And to our students who have been committed, our TAs, for the teaching assistants, please feel free to, of course, you'll be getting the scholarship for all the students who have been committed to the community. Please go out there and pick up the application form. You'll be seeing it on different social media platforms, on your WhatsApp groups, and reapply, right? Reapply. Thank you so much. So we have a lot in store for you. That's not just all. I'm sure that you should be giving me my thumbs up and flowers right now, right? It's not all. That's not all. It's not just the reapplication. You have, the window is open again for you to come back, but there is a lot in store for you. Outside of DataCamp Donate, outside of that DataCamp platform and the four walls of DataCamp, really, what does AI Community Africa, what do we have in store for you after your graduation? So we're not leaving you, as I've said, we are not leaving you. We're right here behind you. And we want to welcome Mr. Stephen to walk us through what AI Community Africa has in store for the graduates. Mr. Stephen, over to you.
Hey guys, thank you so much. First point is, please go register on the website. It's aicommunityafrica.org. I know the website looks slightly crappy now, but trust me, we're working on it. We're working on something better. The idea there is that AI, the community, the platform becomes a place for us to be able to showcase your talents. That beyond DataCamp, you have the opportunities to apply what you've learned, but also you have the network to connect with amazing experts and fantastic experts like Emmanuel, Jennifer, Brain, and maybe essentially everyone that's come on this call today. We are trying to ensure that we build that network, we build that community essentially of our people that you can work with. So in terms of the next steps, if you're welcome to reapply, but also we are based on the performance, based on the people that we've seen so far, based on the overall, just generally the overall performance of learners, as well as the feedback from TAs that you worked with. We are more than happy to, whenever projects come into the community, like we always occasionally do, we have our apprenticeship program. So what you've just passed through is our education arm. So we have 3 different arms within the community. We have the education arm, we have the opportunities arm, and then we have the network arm. as well. So the opportunities, you've gone through the education arm at this point, and you're welcome to pick up any other program, because we're going to be launching some other programs later on the education arm. But there's also a chance for the opportunity arm as well for you to come in and apply your skills. So occasionally we could be having, for instance, there's a hackathon that we have at the end of July. We're going to be throwing that out there. This is a chance. This is sponsored by Google, Google New York. It's called AbbyHacks, and it was an invitation for our community to participate in. So exceptional examples like this for you to take your skills and apply are things we are trying to provide: internship programs, apprenticeship programs, wherever we have the opportunity to, have the capacity to, as a community, to provide, but also mentorship programs, meaning it's not done yet. So for some of us that asked for a roadmap for mentorship, we are more than excited to look at the different DataCamp tracks, and we are putting out together a proper program that can help you essentially go and get mentored, come in and ask the right questions, and essentially have somebody that can give you the right feedback on what you're doing, on the types of projects you're working on, because we've mentioned a lot of projects today, and that's what the opportunities arm is all about, is to help you execute on the right project, help you package the projects properly, and help you, essentially be valuable with your skill, take your skill and apply it in a valuable sense, the one you've just been patient enough to learn in over the past 12 months. The network arm, obviously, is going to be a situation whereby you can come in and then, it's a network of talents that you can sort of tap into, both people that are, and also a network of talents that other organizations, institutions, and non-profit collaborators can tap into, because we need a place to visualize and showcase our talents as Africans, or as African AI talent. So keep an eye out on the revamping we're going to be doing on our website. But more importantly, we're going to be sharing, I think the most immediate step is we're going to be sharing the AbbyHacks registration. So we are going to be looking into the people that perform the most in the different career tracks within the different career tracks of the past cohorts. And we're going to be reaching out to you. If you want to be part of the hackathon, please join the AI Community Africa team. We want to really find innovative solutions to profile for African challenges, and we'll be more than excited to have you on board. So occasionally programs like this will come up, and we want you to keep an eye out. For our community, please, as much as you can, share resources. We have WhatsApp, we have Slack, we have Discord. Whenever you come across a resource and you want to start a discourse, please share them within the community as well, so that people are also going to be able to benefit from your journey. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Steven. But yes, are you excited about all of those opportunities that we have for you? Check the chat box. The link to the website has been dropped, so please go ahead. As you've heard, you've only worked, or you've only participated, or you've been participating in the education arm of the community. There are two other arms that you are yet to explore: the opportunities and the network arm, and all of these packages are for you. So even after your graduation, go ahead to the website. Just go there right now if you have not done so, and follow the prompts. Okay, so and be on the lookout for other programs as will be announced. So we're not letting go of you, as I've said. We're still here, and we'll be sharing all that information over time. So thank you so much, everyone, for your time, for joining in. I'm sure that you've learned a lot, one or two things in this graduation ceremony. So on this note, we'll be bringing this graduation and program completion event to an end, while I invite Mr. Godswill for the closing remark. Mr. Godswill, over to you.
I want to say big congrats as well to the graduates. It's a pleasure watching this cohort, and I mean, just having very excellent performance from all of you. I would say thank you and thank you. So finally, it's really being able to know what is going to come up in the next course, and primarily is to keep everyone abreast with the fact that the cohort starts just as you saw it advertised. It starts from next month. The scholarship ends this month, so you have your friends who haven't had any program yet. You you could send them to get a scholarship here with us, right? And then, of course, for those of you that have graduated, the market looks promising. The AI market or the AI industry as a whole looks very promising as at today. And you should be able to go in and then test your hands on things that you can do, right? Partner with people, try to exercise your knowledge. I mean, you can also reach out to the speakers. I mean, most of them are very available. If you want us to link you up, you can reach out to us. We can link you up, but just make sure that you're able to exercise yourself in learning one or two things, and then putting in the knowledge you've gathered here, right, into something. Then finally, we are not letting you go. What that means is this is not your last with us. We are coming together with something very amazing. We call it a talent network, or you can call it a career network, which is, bringing in the best of all of you that have graduated in this cohort, and then putting you out there to work with some of the best guys that would want to work with you, some of the best companies as well. So that's work in progress. We're not letting you go. So just to let you know, right? We're having plans for that. So with that, I mean, this is where I will close. Thank you very much. We had an amazing time. We had an awesome time. I want to say big thank you to Stevie. Thank you, Nisola. Thank you, Tomewa. Thank everyone who has made this for the success. It's a big pleasure. Hey guys, I look forward to doing so much more with the rest of you that will be the talent network, and then your friends that will come in for the new course. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. It's not bye-bye, but see you again, right? Have an amazing evening. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations.